Hi, all. Another Tim Talk Tuesday here. And I wanted to share with you some things that kind of came together the last couple days that really kind of crossed my mind. I was cleaning out some files and I found a series of notes from a professor in my counseling program years ago. And one of the statements in there said, "You can't teach truth directly." And I've really thought through that a lot in my life since then, and it just keeps coming up in different ways. And strangely, this morning I was listening to a book by Jonathan Haidt called The Happiness Hypothesis. And in it, he says you can't teach wisdom directly. And I think that's probably a true statement in many ways, but when you really think about the big messages, the truth, the wisdom that have come from the ages, all of the spiritual leaders and teachers of all the faiths, they use parables and stories to try to help us see truths, because if they told us directly some of the things that we would experience in life, probably would just fall on deaf ears. But as we hear things and have a chance to revisit them and to think through them and marinate on them, we can see that there are elements of truth that begin to bubble up, and over time, the truths become much more clear. This last week, we've had Memorial Day, and we think of our loved ones who gave their lives in various wars or serving in the military. We think of some very dear people in my life, particularly who've lost father just recently. Another friend lost her mother, and another one lost her father and her mother in a terrible car accident. And it's, I guess, a shock and a reminder that the people in our lives are here for just a short period of time, really. And that is probably one of the big truths that I've learned over time. I think as a kid, people would share with me, you got to appreciate the people that you know, the people that you love, because they're not always going to be with you. And it hit probably in the brain, but it probably didn't go to my heart the way it has over time. And so all of those truths have emerged indirectly and through my experiences and the lessons learned over the days of my life. I've been thinking about relationships again, and one of the ones, I guess, I think about my kids and our lives. There was a song written by Harry Chapin many years ago that really means a lot to me, and I may butcher this, but I'm just going to share a couple of the lines with you, and I may break out into song if I feel like it, but I want you to hear the words more than anything else. My child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking before I knew it. And as he grew, he'd say, "I'm going to be like you, Dad. You know, I'm going to be like you." And then it goes through the story of telling him about when he was 10 years old, and he tells about when he goes off to college. But this one, last verse, kind of hit me a little harder. I've long since retired and my son's moved away. I called him up just the other day. I said, "I'd like to see you if you don't mind." He said, "I'd love to, Dad, if I can find the time. You see, my new job's a hassle and the kids have the flu. But it's sure nice talking to you, Dad. It's been sure nice talking to you." And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me, he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. We're gonna have a good time then. I think songwriters might be some of our best storytellers, and what they share with us doesn't always hit us the first time, but as we listen over and over again, that truth, that wisdom may not come to us directly, but indirectly. if we are wise, if we're really seeking the truth, we'll listen a little closer and remember that the ones we have now are only with us for a short period of time. So love them and let them know that you love them. And I hope you have a great week. Thanks.